Hello, hello. First things first, don't mind my voice. I'm still sick. I got a cold and my voice got fairly messed up. Also, uh, my pronunciation of some stuff might be a little bit off, because English is not my first language, but I'll try my best to pronounce things right. Uh, so yeah, uh, I'm here to show how to access what I call the rock on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This works for both Scarlet and Violet. This is a place I used to shiny hunt, specifically on Area Zero. And it's a great place to quickly uh, try to find shinies. Of course, it still depends on your luck. And if you have the shiny charm, if you have sparkling power, that usually helps. Uh, it is my favorite place to shiny hunt both paradoxes and Pokemon in Area Zero. So I'll be showing how to reach there and how to shiny hunt there. And I'll try to also show other places that I might hunt some other Pokemon. When it comes to paradoxes, I will unfortunately have more knowledge on Scarlet since I don't own Violet and I've never played Violet. I don't know how the isolated work on Violet, especially for the paradox, as most of the regular Pokemon still are the same. So, with that said, what are you going to need? First things first, what really helps is if you have the Shiny Charm. Of course, you get the Shiny Charm by completing the Paldea Pokedex, and bonus points if you leave the Shiny Charm as a favorite. For some reason, that really helps me. A friend of mine taught me that, and it helped me a lot. I got a ton of Shinies. Second is Herba Mystica, especially Salty Herba Mystica. I'll try to use a recipe for one hunt I'm gonna do right now with Salty Herba Mystica. Salty Herba Mystica is the best one. I will be leaving down in the description a Imgur. I think that's how you pronounce the website, the one that hosts images, with a ton of recipes done by Papa Jefe. It has been helping me a lot. They're fairly efficient. There's also a version without Salty Herba Mystica, so you can use other herbas if you don't have any Salty Herba Mystica, but having Salty Herba Mystica is usually the best option. And this is for wild encounters. This is not for outbreaks. Outbreaks, you're going to use a different recipe. Another thing that really helps is having a catching Pokemon. This can be the three options I have here are usually the best. I have Gallade, who has access to False Swipe, the Sharpness ability, and also Hypnosis. Now, why Gallade? Gallade is a good option if you can't use Breloom, which I'll get in a bit, or Smeargle. Since Smeargle is locked behind the DLC, if you don't have the DLC, Gallade and Breloom are gonna be your best options. Hypnosis is only there to deal with grass types, since with Breloom, we will be running Technician, False Swipe, Spore. The other two moves can be whatever you want. I leave these two moves because they get boosted by Technician, and I use them to EV farm. The EV spread is gonna be 252 attack and 252 speed or 252 HP. I really go for speed so I can, well, outspeed pretty much anything, especially for the legendaries in Blueberry Academy or even the legendaries in Paldea. It's really useful, except for Wo Chien, which is a grass type. The other option is Smeargle. Now, Smeargle, you're going to run these three moves. The other move can be pretty much anything you find useful, like Taunt to prevent Memento. But the main thing with Smeargle is Soak, Spore, and False Swipe. Soak is going to help with those those grass types that can be affected by Spore, because Soak is going to turn them into water type. Again, EV spread for all of these three, 252 attack, 252 speed. The best option, in my opinion, is always going to be Breloom. Despite it having a little bit less attack than Gallade, uh, it has Spore, which is easily the best status move in the game, especially for catching. And again, ability, technician, nature for all these three. Adamant, if you don't get them in an adamant nature, of course you can use an adamant mint, so they can have that boost in attack. Attack's going to be really helpful, especially for false swipe, because false swipe on its own is already a really weak move. So we really want to get that false swipe to leave them with 1 HP as soon as possible, and then hit them with the sleep move. Other options are also Thunder Wave. Paralysis is decent because it will always stay with the status condition. You don't need to worry about them waking up. So it's really, really useful. And, you know, if you have Legends Arceus or you have someone that can help you get Hisuian Decidueye, it has Scrappy, which is also useful to hit some ghost types. Again, Soak is going to pretty much deal with all of those problems with ghost and grass types. But if you don't have access to Smeargle and have access to Legends Arceus or a friend that has a Legends Arceus, and you somehow got a Rowlet because Rowlet is on the Blueberry Academy, again, pretty standard setup. Unfortunately, Decidueye doesn't get any status moves, any good ones, especially Sleep. But again, Scrappy can be really useful if you don't have Smeargle. And of course, the other thing you need is full access to the Area Zero. So let's actually begin. First things first, you're going to do is save right in front of this area. Because we don't want to waste Herba Mystica if you don't find any shinies. Another place that you can save is also here. I don't know which pathing is faster to access Area Zero because you can drop down here and still access Area Zero. However, there is a small cutscene, but if you want to reach the lower depths of Area Zero, which is what we want to do today, I recommend saving here because it's the fastest to reach this gate. So again, stay pretty much in this position as close to the stair or the ramp as possible, and then save because we will be opening a picnic here. And the game will allow us to open a picnic, hopefully. And there we go. We opened the picnic. Now, an important thing to have in mind is what you're going to hunt in Area Zero. There's a lot of Pokemon, and not all of them can be isolated. A great example of a Pokemon that I really want to have is Slitherwing, but unfortunately, Slitherwing doesn't have an isolated method because it shares typing with a lot of Pokemon in Area Zero, and it spawns in places where it will still share those spawns. But for today, we will be hunting Garganacl. I put this little thing here in the corner to help us. If you have the Shiny Charm and also do Sparkling Power 3, this is going to be your odds. 1 in 683. It's the best you can probably have in wild encounters. So let's do sandwiches. Now, for Area Zero, you can, or well, let me go away so the music doesn't bother me. You can do level 2 sandwiches. I'll be also linking a spreadsheet below where there are some level 2 recipes in case you don't have Herba Mystica. Again, with those sandwiches, you will have a lot less chances of finding a shiny because it will be using these following odds. So without Sparkling Power and only Shiny Charm, these are going to be your odds. So best option is Sparkling Power, especially because you can isolate them and makes much easier to find them. But level 2 sandwiches can work for some Pokemon, such as Fluttermane on Scarlet. I will probably record a video showing how to do the Fluttermane trick later. It's definitely the easiest Pokemon to shiny hunt this game ever. But it requires being daylight. So again, let's move it to Garganacl. Again, I'll be using sandwich recipes from Papa Jefe. I'll be using this the salty Herba Mystica recipe. Hopefully editing me puts the recipe spreadsheet right now. So the ingredients we will be using for Rock is a single bacon, salty Herba Mystica, and if you want, you can use 2 salty Herba Mysticas, which is usually the best option, or you can mix a salty Herba Mystica with another Herba Mystica. This time I'll be doing with the Sweet Herba Mystica, and hopefully it works. So let's do the sandwich. Again, you don't need to put the top bun, you put it if you want to. I usually avoid putting the top bun because it can make the sandwich explode. It's Scarlet and Violet, it's a pretty wacky game. And there we go. An important tip is your timing or your timer will not start until you hit A on this screen. So as you can see, I'm taking my little time here. So I'm gonna hit A, close the picnic, and if you check the time I have left on the sandwich, I still have 29 and 50 seconds. So, okay. Another great tip if you want to go AFK for some reason or stop the hunt for now, but don't want to lose the sandwich, hit the home button. This will completely stop the timer for the sandwich. I don't know if it works while you're under a union circle. I just know it works while solo. So again, as you can see, my timer is still really good. Anyways, how to reach the rock. First thing, you're going to go into this gate and then go into this teleporter, and you're going to go to research station number 4. And as you can see, we are down here. Unfortunately, Garganacl is not an isolated encounter because Glamora. But still, as you can see, pretty much only Garganacl and Glamora is spawning. So how to access the rock? After leaving this gate, you want to run down here. You don't need to necessarily run because you can stop and check if any of them are shiny because all of them can be shiny while you're walking down there. So always be careful. Despawns can be really finicky, and I have despawned way too many shinies, so be careful. After that, you're gonna hit this direction here and also final check to see if any of them are shiny. Maybe wait them to spawn a bit. Jump so you can check them. It seems that none of them have spawned as shiny. Another important tip, spawns are locked until 15 unless a shiny has spawned. In that case, there will be 16 Pokemon. So if you do the counting method, as I like to call it, and there is more than 15, then one of them is definitely a shiny. And this doesn't work if there's an static encounter, but again, it's still useful to know, especially during outbreaks and especially during Pokemon that are really hard to notice, like Tandemaus. Again, you're gonna drop down here, and this is the rock. So as you can see, a lot of Pokemon are spawning in this rock. Now, we don't see any of them being shiny, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna check the bottom there, nothing there. We're gonna walk backwards really slowly, really carefully, and wait them for it to despawn one after the other. And then check below here because they can spawn down there sometimes. And once you probably see 15, you can go all the way back and then come back to this tip of the crystal. As you can see, one of them spawned down there. And that's pretty much it. That's all you're going to do. You're going to go back and forth until a shiny spawns. It's pretty simple, although requires a bit of patience, just like any shiny hunting. And you need to know what are the colors of the shiny, of course, because lighting on this game can be really tricky, and it can definitely trick you thinking there's a shiny. Especially with a Pokemon like Glimmora over here, that has a shiny that looks kind of similar to the lighting in this bottom area. As you can see, just go back and forth really slowly. Now, these group spawns are usually the best, especially for Glimmora, which can spawn Glimmet. Oh, they went after me. Hi. Because it pretty much bumps your chances of finding a shiny because you're spawning more Pokemon at once. Now again, go backwards, slowly, just so you don't despawn the shiny. I want to despawn this Glimmora, and then come back. And then wait them for it to spawn. That Garg is still there. As you can see, there's two groups. There's 4 and then 5 here. So 2 groups of 5 and 5, so that's 15. We walk backwards. Again, you can do this by running. It's just a lot more riskier because again, you could despawn a shiny, and that has happened a lot to me. And it's pretty much a waiting game now. You can just check, count if there's 15, in case there's 15. Walk backwards to despawn, especially the group spawns. If you can despawn the groups one by one, it's usually better because you're not going to spawn another group. Especially for dual hunts like this one. So again, despawn everyone. And then we wait. Now, another option, if you don't want to just spend here, you're going to go all the way up again. But this time, you'll go to this big circle here. This one is fairly fast to do despawns as well. If you can, zoom out your camera as much as possible and then just run circles around here. You can despawn stuff fairly fast, but again, be careful, you could despawn a shiny. But they respawn also really fast. And in the case of the ones right in the middle, you can just carefully jump off and then come back. If you have flight from the Blueberry Academy, it's going to make this a lot much easier. Now spot number 3, and this is my favorite spot to do the Flutter Mane trick. It's that little cave-in right there. So you're going to run, jump, and glide. You can glide here, but if you have flight, again, it's much easier. And then just wait until stuff spawns. You can see they're spawning in a really close formation, so it's much easier to spot them. And again, if you don't see any shiny, glide back, go back in. If you have flight, you can just fly back. If you have glide, just go towards those walls and then climb back. And as you can see, no shinies, so go backwards, go back, and then do this. Again, nothing, so we're gonna get out of here. Another place you can hunt these is, of course, by running out here. But there is a huge chance that you might end up missing a shiny, especially if you're running like this, with the camera going forwards, because most Pokemon spawn on your back. As you can see, a lot of them do spawn, well, not on this bridge, but most of them are respawning back there. Some are respawning in front of me, But I have missed, again, way too many shinies by doing this method. And some of them I'm walking backwards and they respawn right as I leave the spawn range. So they despawn. Editing me, if you want, and if you can, put the Great Tusk clip. That's I think there's probably more, so just put him here. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It's pretty simple to hunt in Area 0. Just roam around until you find a shiny. Now, let's say you didn't find a shiny. Your 30 minutes ran out and you didn't find a shiny. Well, that was a waste of Herba Mystica, right? No. So remember how we saved before doing the sandwich? Well, in case we don't find a shiny, we're just gonna hit home, close the game, and reopen it. Now, if any of you remember, I had 11 salty Herba Mystica and 16 sweet Herba Mystica. And of course I used one of each, so when used I would have 10 and then 15 for salty and sweet. But again, because we saved before, we are gonna get those Herba Mystica back. This trick also works on union circles if you want to host a sandwich for someone. If I have a ton of Herba Mystica, done a ton of raids, and you have that friend that doesn't have any Herba Mystica, again, Papa Hefe did make a pretty good spreadsheet. Is that the right word? He made a really good graph showing Herba Mystica you can share with friends. The other person just need to put salt. That's it. They put a few ingredients and salt. That's it. And then the host just leaves the lobby, the union circle. No one loses ingredients besides the other player. Anyways, as you can see, we're back here, and if we go in my bag, there we go, 16 and 11. So we didn't waste any Herba Mystica. Now, I want to do a different hunt. I don't want to do Garg. Let's try doing another really, really fun one in the rock, which is going to be Flutter Mane, because I haven't done a regular Flutter Mane hunt in a very long time. So again, we'll be using the Papa Jefe recipes. There are other recipes, but these are my favorite ones. So again, go here, creative, and for ghost type, this is the best type to do for isolated Flutter Mane. It's going to be a single red onion, and again, salty and sweet Herba Mystica. As you can see, I did something wrong. I used the wrong Herba Mystica. Ain't that fun? So this leads me to another thing. There's this very handy tool called Sandwich Simulator. So just boom, and would you look at that? So this is a really handy tool that I'll also be linking in the description, where you can test Herba Mystica or sandwiches combinations. So in this case, I did red onion and salt and sweet. As you can see, it gave me egg power, and that's not what we want. We want encounter power. That's the main one. So if we swap this for, let's say, Spicy Herba Mystica, there we go. That is actually correct. And it's actually the correct one that is shown in Papa Jefe's guide. So again, extremely useful tool. I highly recommend using if you want to test out combinations. So yeah. Back here. And as you can see, the only thing spawning now is actually Flutter main. So this is a true isolated encounter, as I like to call them. So again, slowly walk back, just so you don't risk despawning a shiny while we make our way to the rock. Now, Flutter main is one of those fairly noticeable shinies, so it is going to be much easier to spot this one once it actually spawns. So again, we'll be going back to the rock, and as we go here, as you can see, only Flutter main. And since they can't spawn in groups, you can check fairly easily if there's 15. If there isn't, again, just walk slowly backwards until they start to despawn. And then spawn more of them. Back, check there. There's one there. Yeah, that's it. Again, you can do this here. You can do this in that big rock there. You can do this in the little cave in there. You can do it by walking around this section. It's pretty much personal choice, but this one, in my opinion, is one of the fastest to, well, respawn Pokemon. One of the fastest places. Especially because they spawn so together, it's much easier to see every single spawn and don't run the risk of missing out on one. Again, just always remember check there. If there's way too many spawns like that down there, like this, and some of them are dropping down there, I highly recommend going all the way back and flying a little bit away and then going back. I recommend trying to get to this tip of the crystal as fast as possible, so it tries to prevent them spawning down there. Let me show the other spots as well. And there it is. We actually found one. Now, you can save before hunting the shiny, but since I know Fluttermane doesn't have any self-destructing moves, I'll just leave my little boy here in the front, and then the best thing you can do is try to hit them in the back with the Surprise Strike. If you see that little effect, it means you've done it right, and if you tell that you got them off guard, that's the best thing, because this boosts your catching chance. Now this is a ghost type, of course we can't hit it with False Swipe, but I'll try to quick ball it. It doesn't have the best catch rate, but pretty much by hitting it off guard, we increase our chances. In this case, you didn't manage to do it, so we're just gonna hit this with Spore. And then try again with the Dusk Ball, because it's night and we are in a cave. I also recommend trying to check your surroundings, see if any of other do spawn. And yeah, there we go. We found a shiny. That was really lucky. We got that in 5-ish, 6 minutes. And we encounter another. Oops. Now, another great tool I want to show, and I'll also link in the description, is Pokémon Database. You can use Cerebi, you can use Bulbapedia. I recommend Pokémon Database not only to check the shinies, so in this case we're doing Flutter main, so you can go here, check Flutter main, but the main thing is check moves learned. So that Flutter main that we got, we can see in the bottom of the screen, is level 58. So it should have these moves. 58, so it should have Power Gem, Mystical Fire, Shadow Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. Let's check in game if this is correct. And there we go. Power Gem, Mystical Fire, Shadow Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. A really useful thing is with this, you can check if the Pokemon has any self-destructing moves or any self-KO moves, recoil. They will have the last 4 moves according to the current level. So again, this is level 58, so it's going to have Power Gem from 56, Mystical Fire from 49, Shadow Ball from 42, and Dazzling Gleam from 35. Again, extremely useful. A great example I did recently was Solgaleo. I wasn't doing a shiny hunt because, again, this is unfortunately shiny locked. But Solgaleo was level 70, so we had Flare Blitz, Solar Beam, Wild Charge, and Metal Burst. So 2 recoil moves. That was really fun. It wasn't fun. Now we got this little lad here. One thing, if of course you're shiny hunting for competitive Pokemon battling, don't forget to put them on your boxes if you have any free slots, because every Pokemon you catch will get EVs. So be really careful with that if you don't want to mess up your EV spreads, especially if you're just using one Pokemon to catch, like you're only using a Breloom or you're only using a Smeargle, whatever it is. Be really careful if you have Pokemon on your team, because they will be gaining EVs. So let's go to the other spot. I got lost where it is. Oh, right there. Let's go to the other spot. Now, this other spot, there's also a thing I need to mention. As we go here. Again, only them will spawn. But there's a not so fun little detail. As you can see, one of them did spawn within the walls. Now, I don't know when Pokemon Company did this or Game Freak did this, but they patched Pokemon in the walls. You can't target and battle them anymore. Now, if we try to engage with that... drop down. Yeah, thank you. If we try to engage with that Flutter Mane in the wall, let's try to KO. Again, we won't be doing much, because normal type. Poor little Smeargle. We'll clean up. Hopefully it doesn't defeat the one on the wall. It also won't attack the one on the wall, I believe. Let me try to not encounter any of them. Oh, it did battle the one on the wall. Whoops. Let me see if any other one spawns. But you can check the walls by zooming in. But you can't encounter them. And even worse, you can't throw the Pokeball inside anymore. You used to be able to do this. I don't know when they patched this and which of the updates, but be really careful on this spot specifically. Although it is a really good spot, it's best used for the Flutter Mane trick. So the truly isolated daytime Flutter Mane trick, as I like to call it. Which now it's nighttime, so again, they're spawning normally. And again, no spawns. We go backwards. Now this one is much riskier because, again, you can despawn a shiny this way. And since you have a lot less turning control while in the air, you can't turn as fast as they can probably despawn. Be really careful with this method. So try to do small curves here. Don't try to go too far. As you can see, we have one in the walls, and I'm trying to aim towards it. I can't. I probably can throw a Pokeball at it, start a battle. I can't. Okay. If you try to nudge in the rock, you can probably encounter them, but if they're too far away or too off bounds or out of bounds, chances are you're not going to be able to do the encounter. So be really careful with those, especially in Paldea, where it's most common for them to spawn out of bounds. If you're doing hunts in Kitakami or the Blueberry Academy, I've rarely found a Pokemon being spawned out of bounds, and even if it did, it usually tried to get pushed away into bounds. So this is a thing you only need to be careful while doing hunts in Paldea. So yeah. If I go back to the rock, see if we can find any shinies there.
15 minutes later.
I almost despawned this one. Finally showed up, and I want to hit it in the back so we can get a stealth strike. I don't remember what it's called, a surprise strike or something like that. I'll try to get that. Carefully to not despawn the Flutter main as always. It's targeted, and it's marked. So let's go. And crit catch. Awesome. First try. So as you can see, they can spawn here in this rock. It just really takes a little bit of patience and luck. So this is with 6 minutes remaining of that same sandwich, believe it or not. So again, if you still have some time, you can go back and forth. Or if you just wanted to hunt one, you can find another Pokemon with the same typing from your sandwich. It's really up to you. So again, this is my favorite method. It is just like any shiny hunt. It does take a little bit of patience. It does take a little bit of time. And it is luck reliant, but you know, it's one of the best places to shiny hunt here in Area 0. So, which Pokemon can you isolate here? Now, for Pokemon Scarlet, I'll be leaving images of anything that can be hunted here because I don't remember at the top of my head. And for Violet, I will also be leaving these. These are the ones that are able to be spawning here. The ones with asterisks. Oh, hi. We actually got 3 in a single sandwich. That's wild. But anyways, any of the ones with an asterisk means that they're either a double hunt or not truly isolated. So let's see if we can encounter this little baby here. They're joined together. That was actually kind of lucky. So we can just spore it. Maybe we can just straight up throw a Dusk Ball again. And yes, if you are lucky enough, you can actually spawn 2 shinies. So again, it really depends on your luck, but it is possible. I've had a double shiny, especially with Flutter main. Let's catch this thing. Now for Pokeballs, I did not catch this. Wow, that was mean to show 3 shakes. Pokeballs I recommend using here. So first turn, especially if you get the back strike, Quick Ball, always best option first turn. If it fails Dusk Ball, as it will count as being in a cave, so Dusk Ball always have increased odds. If you already got the Pokemon, again, Repeat Ball, really great option. And if it has been taking a little while, Timer Ball is your best friend. These are the Pokeballs with best odds. As we can see, we got a crit catch. But if you want to use any other Pokeball, Apery Balls, even if you want to use your Master Ball, that's up to you. And I forgot to remove the other one from the party. Whoops. Now that one with 6 minutes left. Yeah, we got this 2 minutes later. Oh. Try to run away. Yeah, if you really want to try your luck, again. Oh, is it daytime? I saw one despawn. Oh, it is daytime. Hello. I will make a video on this method later. I'll do a full hunt of it. It's definitely the easiest shiny to get in the game. But yeah, this was my strategy to shiny hunt Paradox Pokemon and some other isolated Pokemon here in Area 0. These 3 spots are my favorite ones, and definitely the Rock is the easiest one, especially for the Paradox. Again, these on the screen right now are the Scarlet Paradoxes that do spawn down there, and these are gonna be the Violet Paradoxes that spawn in that rock. Anything that isn't shown there spawns somewhere else. And again, the ones with an asterisk mean that they're not a true isolated encounter. They are dual hunts, so they're gonna spawn something else. And the best example I can think of here is gonna be Roaring Moon. If you do a Dragon Sandwich, you're gonna spawn Gabite and Gibble. On top of that, you're gonna spawn Swalus. And of course, Roaring Moon. Although Roaring Moon rarely spawns down here, there is another place to hunt Roaring Moon. But it's an option. And if you do a dark encounter sandwich, you'll only find Roaring Moon and Zweilous. And again, Zweilous with a much higher chance. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Any tools, I highly recommend the sandwich, the level 2 sandwiches with some other sandwiches as well, other useful sandwiches. Papa Half-Base ingredients for shiny hunts. And the sandwich simulator, any other interesting tool, I will link in the description. On top of that, I will be linking a spreadsheet that has some isolated encounters throughout the entirety of the Paldea Dex. Now, some of the info there is a little bit dated. It hasn't been updated for the Blueberry and Kitakami updates. So some of the info there is a little bit outdated, but it's still a really good spreadsheet for knowing what you can isolate and where. But yeah, any other tools that I find interesting that I haven't mentioned here in the video, I'll be linking down in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, good luck on your hunts. It does take a little bit of patience. If you're scared of the Pokemon KOA itself, the game crashing, or anything happening, don't forget to save before and after encountering the shiny. If you do, like, let's say, KO it by accident, if you save before the shiny, it will stay there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like and subscribe, I guess. Bye.